सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धेर्दृग्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चितं। So we are getting the epistemological details of Aham Brahma iti Jnana. Epistemology means the discipline of knowledge dealing with knowledge. That is called epistemology. So we are seeing these epistemological details. And Shishya also is very much interested in that. So that's why Guru also is inspired. Otherwise some topics Guru keep it for himself only. See, he doesn't teach because he said Shishya will run away. So keep Shishya around. Guru will, sometimes he doesn't teach. But here Shishya is very inspiring Shishya. So he is asking the question that this knowledge happens to whom? Aham Brahma Jnanam happens to whom? And Guruji said Chidabhasa. He said not only knowledge, ignorance also to Chidabhasa. Then he raised the question which he had already mentioned earlier, that Chidabhasa has got this knowledge Aham Brahma. Will it not be a wrong knowledge? Like the Prime Minister telling I am the king is a wrong knowledge. Even though people may be calling him king, okay sometimes. But he should not think he is the king. So here, if Chidabhasa says I am Brahman or thinks I am Brahman, isn't it a wrong knowledge? Because Chidabhasa is not Brahman. For that answer is given that when Chidabhasa uses the word Aham, it captures both. Means the content of I thought is Chidabhasa and Kutastha both. And therefore, Aham Brahma, when it is said that Aham has got two constituents, one is Kutastha, other is Chidabhasa, and both can have oneness. Kutastha Chaitanyam Drishti also oneness is possible, and the Chidabhasa Drishti also oneness is possible. And how Kutastha Drishti oneness is possible? That was shown that Kutastha is free from all limitations of Upadhi. It obtains in the Upadhi but not limited by the Upadhi. Like Ghatakasha is the Akasha, obtains in the pot but not limited by the pot. And therefore Ghatakasha is always one with the limitless Akasha. Similarly, if this Aham is understood to be Kutastha, then there will be oneness and there will be Samanadikaranyam between the word Aham and word Brahma. And that Samanadikaranyam is based on oneness, primary oneness, and therefore that Samanadikaranyam is called Mukhya Samanadikaranyam. When there is oneness between the two entities, then the words denoting those two entities will be in Mukhya Samanadikaranyam. That was talked about. Then Badha Samanadikaranyam, the Tippanikara explains, Bhinna Satta Kayoho, Uvayoho, Padarthayoho, Samana Vibhakti Katva Balena, Ekya Pratipadaka, Vakyastha Padadvayasya, Badhayam Samanadikaranyam Bodhyam. So the apposition of the two words obtaining in the sentence which is revealing oneness between the two padarthas, between the two word meanings having different degree of reality, and how this oneness is revealed by the words and the sentence, primarily by words based on samana vibhakti katva. So since the two words are in the same case, and therefore these two words and the sentence which is comprising of these two words is having badhayam samanadikaranya. In simple words, when there are two things having different degree of reality and the oneness between these two things is shown by the negation of one thing, then the words denoting those two things will have badha samanadikaranya. Negation based or negation related apposition. Another word Puja Swamiji used to use is, he used to like it, sublation. Sublation based apposition. Alright. So this we had seen. Now we are seeing the last paragraph of page number 111. Ahamiti shabdena pratibhasaman chidabhasasya tu brahmana saha. Yes, before that Mukhya Samanadikaranyam also was explained yesterday only, we saw that, where it was said when two things have got always non-difference, then those two things will have the primary Samanadikaranyam. Simple meaning is, when the two things have got always non-difference, then those two things have got primary Samanadikaranyam. And the words denoting those two things will have primary Samanadikaranyam. And Ghatakasha and Mahakasha has got Mukhya Samanadikaranyam. So Pada, the word Ghatakasha and word Mahakasha has got Mukhya Samanadikaranyam. Alright. Now, about the Badha Samanadikaranyam. We were seeing yesterday, Ahamiti Shabdena Pratibhasamana Chidavasasya tu Brahmana Saha Swaswarupa Badhapurvakam Eva Abheda Siddhyati. The oneness between Chidabhasa and Brahman is established by negation of the essential form of Chidabhasa. What is the essential form of Chidabhasa? Abhasatvam. So by dismissing the Abhasatvam of Chidabhasa, the oneness between the Chidabhasa and Brahman is established. And that type of oneness will be revealed by this Badhayam Samanadikaranyam. So Badhayam Samanadikaranyam is apposition related to negation, and a apposition related to negation is the apposition where the oneness between the two entities is established by the negation of one entity. In simple words, by the negation of one entity, the oneness is established. And we had seen the example earlier. We say this sarpa is the rope alone. This is what Badhayam Samanadikaranyam. How? Because the oneness of these two entities is established by the negation of one entity called the sarpa. The sarpa did not have existence, but the existence was superimposed, and now the superimposed existence is negated by this sentence. And then the oneness of the two entities is established. Then that oneness is called the Badhayam Samanadikaranyam, or the oneness based this apposition of the things is called Badhayam Samanadikaranyam, and oneness based the apposition of the words also is called Badhayam Samanadikaranyam. In fact, the apposition of the words alone is generally used in the Shastra. samanadikaranyam padayoho syat. Therefore here badhayam samanadikaranyam is badha based. In fact, simple meaning is that mukhya samanadikaranyam is oneness based and badhayam samanadikaranyam is badha. Badha means this negation based. Badhayam samanadikaranyam. So badhayam samanadikaranyam eva uchyate. Up to this we had seen. Now yasya vastu has come. यस्य हि वस्तुनः स्वरूपनाशपूर्वकं येन वस्तुना सह अभेदः जायते तस्य वस्तुनः तेन वस्तुना सह बाधायां समानाधिकरणे उच्यते. I think this we had not seen yesterday, no? See, there are two things, yasya and yena, of which thing and by which thing. So when of a thing A, there is non-difference with thing B based on the dismissal of thing A, then the opposition between A and B will be called Badha Samanadikarana. Two things are there, A and B, and the oneness between A and B is established by the dismissal of A, then the opposition between A and B is called Badhayam Samanadikarana. That is said here. Yasya hi vastunaha, of whichever thing A, Swarupanasha Purvakam, preceded by the negation of the nature of the given thing A. Yena Vastuna, by whichever thing B, Saha, with Abhedaha Jayate, non-difference is born. Here non-difference is born, really it is not born. Non-difference is recognized. Jayate means Jayate. When the non-difference of thing A with the thing B is cognized based on the negation of A, then tasya vastunaha, of that thing A, tena vastuna saha, with thing B, badhayam samanadikaranyam uchyate, is called negation based opposition. And here A and B, let us take what? Sarpa and Rajju. Sarpaha Rajjuhu eva. So thing A, Sarpa, will have this, the oneness, Abheda, with Rajju, B. And that oneness between the Sarpa and Rajju is established by what? Established by the negation of Sarpa. So the non-difference between the snake and the rope is established by the negation of snake, and therefore the opposition between the snake and the rope will be called negation based opposition. That is how it is said here, Badhayam Samanadikarane Muchyate. So when you say Ayam Sarpaha Rajjuhu Eva, that is Badha Samanadikarane. He will give example. Yatha Mukha Pratibimbasya Swarupa Badha Purvakam Mukhabimbena Abhedasya Drishtatvat Pratibimbaha Mukham Eva Na Anyat Ataha Pratibimbasya Bimbena Saha Badhayam Eva Samanadikaranyam Bhavati. When you say this reflection is the original alone, when you say the reflection is the original alone, then there is a Badha Samanadikaranyam. Means reflection does not have existence of its own. The reality is the original only. That is the message conveyed by Badhayam Samanadikaranam. And in Badhayam Samanadikaranam, what happens? That is said here. Yatha, just as Mukha Pratibimbasya, of this reflection of the face, Swarupa Badha Purvakam, having done the negation of the entity. What is the entity? Mukha Pratibimba. Having done the negation of the Swarupa, the essential form of the reflection, Mukharupa Bimbena, with the original face, Abhedasya Drishtatva, non-difference is seen. So the non-difference of the reflection of the face with the original face is seen based on or preceded by the negation of the reflection, and therefore pratibimbaha mukhameva na anyat. The reflection is nothing but the face. Na anyat means nothing but. So reflection is the face alone. Na anyat, nothing else. Ataha, therefore, pratibimbasya bimbena saha. Of the reflection with the original, bimba means the original. Badhayam eva samanadikaranyam bhavati. There is negation based apposition. When you say pratibimbaha bimbaha eva, reflection is nothing but the original. This is samanadikaranyam. What type of samanadikaranyam? Badhayam samanadikaranyam. Why? Because in this statement you are dismissing the reality of the pratibimba. Pratibimbaha bimbaha eva. There is no real existence of pratibimba. What exists is bimba, the original alone. In this manner, by the negation of pratibimba, you are establishing the oneness between the two. And therefore, this samanadikaranyam is called badhayam samanadikaranyam. So, negation based samanadikaranyam is called badhayam samanadikaranyam. This one example is enough, but he gives another example. Just for exercise, homework. Yatava, or just as. Sthanau Purusha Brahmanantaram Vicharat. Sthanau, with regard to the post, wooden post. Purusha Brahmanantaram, after the delusion of a human being. Vicharat, on inquiry, on throwing the light, etc. Sthanutvena gnane sati. When what was seen as a human being is understood as the wooden post alone, then Purusha Sthanu eva. This Purusha is nothing but Sthanu, wooden post alone. Iti, in this manner, Purushasya Sthanuna saha, of this human being with the wooden post, Badhayam eva samanadikaranyam jayate. Jayate means jayate. This apposition is known in terms of negation only. So we have seen this example. When we say that Purushaha Sthanuhu eva. Purusha means a human being. This human being, a person which was seen during the state of delusion, that Purusha is nothing but Sthanu. Is just wooden post or wooden trunk. At that time, what is happening? You are negating the Purusha. Means you are saying Purusha is not there. What is there is Sthanu alone, wooden post alone. And so here, the samanadikaranyam between these two words, Purusha and Sthanu, is established based on the negation of Purusha. Therefore, the samanadikaranyam is badhayam samanadikaranyam. So samanadikaranyam of the words and samanadikaranyam of the words, the meanings denoted by the words, both of them have badhayam samanadikaranyam. So here is highlighting more on the meanings, but from that we have to understand the samanadikaranyam of the words. He said Purushasya sthanuna saha. This human being has got samanadikaranyam, the apposition with the sthanu, wooden trunk, only in badha, in negation. So it is a negation based samanadikaranyam. Tatha abhasasya api badhanantaram eva brahmana saha abhedaha sabbhavati. Similarly, of Chidabhasa, Brahmana saha, with Brahman, badhanantaram eva, only after negation of Chidabhasa. Abhasasya badhanantaram, abhasasya brahmana. Twice anvaya is there. After the negation of Chidabhasa, there is abheda, non-difference between the abhasa and Brahman. Sambhavati is possible. And therefore between Chidabhasa and Brahman, what is the samanadikaranyam? Badhayam Samanadhikaranyam. Is Samanadhikaranyam in practical language what we say? Oneness. So oneness between Chidabhasa and Brahman is based on what? Based on negation. Therefore, when I am identifying myself to be Chidabhasa, an individual, an individual, when I am saying I am Brahma, then how this sentence will make sense if you want to make sense? It will make sense when you are dismissing all individual features of Chidabhasa. All the entire individuality of Chidabhasa is dismissed. Then only you can say, I am Brahma. That is why Aham Brahmasmi Gnanam cannot become the embellishment of ego represented by Chidabhasa. You cannot be proud of having I am Brahman. You know, I am Brahman. All of you idiots, I know I am Brahman. I know I am Brahman. Then that person has not understood. When you say I am Brahma, in that I, if you are having Chidabhasa as I, then Chidabhasa has to drop his Chidabhasatvam, his individuality. As an individual, he cannot claim himself to be Brahman. When he lets go of his individuality and he appreciates only Adhishthanam, then only Aham Brahmasmi Gnanam is valid. Retaining the individuality, he cannot see. And therefore, if somebody says, I am very proud to have this Aham Brahma Gnanam, then he has not Aham Brahma Gnanam. Aham Brahma Gnanam cannot become embellishment of your ego. Other knowledge can become. You can be proud of having this astrophysics knowledge, computer knowledge, Sanskrit knowledge also. I know Panini. Immediately I will ask, what is the Purvatra Siddham? Purvatra Siddham. So, anyway, even if you know Purvatra Siddham meaning, still you are not, because of that you don't become Brahman. Anyway, but that knowledge can become embellishment of your ego. People are very proud. Generally, I was talking to someone that when Vidya comes, then humility comes. Somebody said, no, Swamiji, I know so many arrogant scholars. Very arrogant. So they say, you don't ask me this question. You don't deserve to ask. Like that they may give feelings. So, other knowledge can become the embellishment of your ego, not Aham Brahma. Why? Because in Aham Brahma Gnanam, if you are taking Aham as Chidabhasa has to let go of his individuality. Or you have to go by Kutastha. I am changeless, I change consciousness, and I changeless consciousness am Brahman. And I changeless consciousness cannot claim for anything. I changeless consciousness am Sakshi. And Sakshi means what? I am not a Karta. I am not a Bhokta. I am not a Pramata. Moment you say I am a Pramata, knower, you have lost your status of being Sakshi. Means you have disowned as it were. And therefore, as a Kutastha, you cannot be proud with reference to Aham Brahmasmi Gnanam. Of course, with reference to any Gnanam. And with reference to this Chidabhasa also, Chidabhasa also cannot have pride for Aham Brahmasmi Gnanam. Why? The Aham Brahmasmi Gnanam is Badhayam Samanadhikaranyam. So practical implication of Badhayam Samanadhikaranyam is this, that retaining the individuality, you do not claim yourself to be Brahman. That's what it means. Retaining your individuality, you cannot claim yourself to be Brahman. That's why in Vedanta, Vairagyam is emphasized. Holding on to limited things, you cannot own up limitlessness. To own up the limitlessness, you have to let go of this limited individuality. What we want to do is retaining the individuality, we want to claim this limitlessness as one more thing, as one more feather on the cap, in the cap. One more feather, that so many feathers are there in the cap. One more. What? Brahmagnana cap. A Brahmagnana feather. It cannot be. If one tries to be, he is a loser. And therefore, Badhayam Samanadikaranyam. Alright. So this topic we have discussed very, very exhaustively. Exhaustively means what? Till we got exhausted. So, we have discussed. Okay. Tasmat. Therefore, because of the above mentioned reason, Ahamiti Shabda Bodhya Abhasa Brahma Eva Na Tataha Anya. So, because there is a Bada Samanadi Karanyam between this Chidabhasa and Brahma, therefore, in study of the Shastra, the importance of understanding Tasmat is very much there. So much importance. Every Tasmat, if you are able to answer, then you have understood previous paragraph. Generally, people will say Tasmat means therefore. The teacher also doesn't pay sometime attention, student also doesn't pay. Sometimes teacher may be knowing, but he thinks the students know it. But most of the time, people miss it. So, whether teacher tells or not, student should be very clear what is the meaning of Tasmat. That Tasmat, if you can understand, then you have understood previous paragraph. Alright. Tasmat means therefore. Therefore means there is since Badhayam Samanadikaranyam is possible between the Abhasa and this Brahma. Therefore, Ahamiti Shabda Bodhya Abhasa Brahma Eva Na Tataha Anya. Is Abhasa Abhasa Chidabhasa is Brahman alone, not different from Brahman. Abhasasya Brahmana Saha Idrishaha Badhayam Samanadikar Saha Idrishaha Badhayam Samanadikaranyam Sambhavati. Idrisha Abheda. Abhasasya Brahmana Saha Idrishaha Abhedaha. The Abheda with the Abheda of Abhasa with Brahma, Saha Idrishaha. Oh, yeah, sorry. Idrishaha Abhasasya. Idrisha Shashti. Idrik Shabda. Idrish Shabda. Idrishasya Abhasasya. Abhasa who is like this. So, Abhasa who is like this. Who is like this means which is Aham Shabdena Bodhyamana. With Brahman, the of Abhasa which is of this type. So, Abhasa who is of this type has got Badhayam Samanadikaranyam, has got negation based apposition with Brahman. Sambhavati is possible. In fact, he is just re-emphasizing what is already told. So, Idrisha is the Shashti Vibhakti Ekvachan. Idrish Shabda is there. So, Idrish, Idrik, Idriko, Idrish, Idrik, Idrisho, Idrishaha. And Idrishaha is the Shashti Vibhakti of Idrish Shabda. Alright. Idrish means of this type. So, Chidabhasa who is of this type has got the negation based apposition with Brahman. Alright, now he final conclusion he gives. Based on the discussion, what is to be understood? Hey Somya, every now and then he tells this because Shishya must be feeling depressed by so much complicated description. So just to cheer him up, okay, don't, if you have not understood, don't bother about it. Final thing I am telling you, Sar bol deta hu. So I will tell you the essence. Hey Somya, Ithameva, in this manner alone, Ahamiti Shabdagamyasya Kutasasya Brahmana Saha Mukhya Bhedaha Abhasasya tu Badhayam Abhedaha iti Janihi. So you understood this much. What? Kutastha, changeless consciousness which is Shabda, which is Gamya, which is revealed or knowable. Through what? Aham Shabda, through the word Aham. Ithameva means referring to the discussion so far. In this manner alone, of Kutastha, changeless consciousness, which is revealed by the word Aham. And Itham refers to the earlier, he had told in the 198 first paragraph, that in Aham both components are there. Kutastha also is there. So Kutastha also can be called Aham Shabda Gamya, and Chidabhas also can be called Aham Shabda Gamya. Therefore, Ithameva Aham iti Shabda Gamyasya Kutasthasya. Kutastha, which is known by the word Aham, Brahmana Saha, with Brahman, Mukhya Bhedaha, primary non-difference. Kutastha, Sakshi has got primary non-difference with Brahman. And Mukhya Bheda is otherwise called Ekatvam. So between these Kutastha and Brahma, there is a primary non-difference, means primary oneness. Whereas Abhasasya, we have to supply Brahmana of Chidabhasa with Brahman, Badhayam Abheda. There is negation based non-difference. Chidabhasa also has non-difference with Brahman, but Badhayam is based on, related to the Badha, negation. So Chidabhasa has got non-difference with Brahman based on negation. And Kutastha has got the non-difference with Brahman based on their intrinsic oneness. Alright. So iti janihi, may you know this. From this, what we understand? Between the Satya, there is Mukhya Abheda. Satya Kutastha Chaitanya and Satya Brahma. Both of them have got Mukhya Abheda, Ekatvam. And between the Satya and Mithya also oneness. But that is Badhayam, negation based oneness. So based on that, between Jagat and Brahma, what type of oneness is there? Badhayam Samanadika. When we say everything is Brahma, then everything is negated, only Brahman is there, that is understood. So Sarvam Brahma is Badhayam Samanadika. Generally people don't know, so they say I am Brahman, Sarvam Brahman. But there is a slight difference in that. When we say Sarvam Brahma, the Badha Samanadhikaranya. Sarvam Janardana is different. Aham Janardana is different. Both are one, but slightly a different way they are one. Alright. Now, Shishya has got another question. He really wants to do PhD on this. Aham Brahma Jnanam PhD. So, about Aham Brahma Jnanam, he wants to know what all possible things can be known. So, first he asked that this Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam occurs to whom? And both the options he had problems. Then Guruji answered that this Jnanam happens to Chidabhasa. For that he raised the objection that will it not be a Mithya Jnanam? For that Guruji answered no, that also can be seen as correct based on Badha Samanadika. And now he is asking that in this Aham, in Aham Brahmasmi, that Aham is there, that Aham Vritti is always there. I am, which is called self-awareness. This self-awareness is all the time there. And in this self-awareness, two components are there, Kutastha and Chidabhasa. One of them is not enough. Let us take one option, pure consciousness. Can there be pure consciousness alone as the content of self-awareness? Can pure consciousness be the content of self-awareness? Means what? I am. Can that it be pure consciousness? No. Pure consciousness can exist without this self-awareness. But pure consciousness cannot be there as the only component of self-awareness. Is it clear? Pure consciousness can exist without having self-awareness. Self-awareness is not the nature of pure consciousness. Means pure consciousness need not be available as I am to exist. For pure consciousness to exist, it need not be available as I am. Is it clear? So self-awareness, without self-awareness, pure consciousness can exist. But pure consciousness cannot be the only component of the self-awareness. Okay, let us, pure consciousness alone cannot be there. Can there be this reflected consciousness, Pratibimba Chaitanya, be the only content of this self-awareness? Can be there? Reflected consciousness, can it be the only content of self-awareness? In fact, reflected consciousness alone cannot even exist. Where is the question of being available as self-awareness? Is it clear? So, Pratibimba Chaitanyam cannot even exist without this Bimba Chaitanyam. The reflected consciousness cannot exist without the original consciousness, much less it can be available as self-awareness. Is it clear? So, original consciousness or pure consciousness, the Bimba Chaitanyam alone cannot be the content of self-awareness. Pratibimba Chaitanyam alone cannot be the content of self-awareness. Therefore, what? Both of them have to be there in self-awareness. That, first of all, that should be well established in the mind. And so, without Pratibimba Chaitanyam also, self-awareness not possible. Why? Because in this pencil, Bimba Chaitanyam, original consciousness, is there or not? There? Huh?
Yes, yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
You reluctant? Huh? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. In this pencil, original consciousness, which is all pervasive, is there? But self-awareness is there. Pencil ऐसे I am pencil. थोड़ा मैं छोटी हो गई अभी जरा बीच से खुला. It was bulging out. Now I am small. Nowadays Swami doesn't use me. I am useless fellow doesn't have self-awareness. Pencil has self-awareness. No. Thank God. We are already handling so many people. Now we have to answer pencil ego also. Oh, for so many days you have not used me. I will go away. All this pencil will tell me or send an SMS. So all this will happen. Pencil doesn't have. Why pencil doesn't have self-awareness? Even though the Bimba Chaitanyam original consciousness is there, because reflected consciousness is not there. Why reflected consciousness is not there? Because the medium of reflection is not there. Clear? Pencil or book or etc. All of them have got Bimba Chaitanyam, but since Pratibimba Chaitanyam is not there, because the medium of Pratibimba Upadhi is not there, Antakarana Upadhi is not there, therefore Pratibimba Chaitanyam is not there. Therefore, self-awareness, I am, is not there. Cow has got self-awareness. Bacteria has, it has got self-awareness. We do not know what type of self-awareness. So all the time they drive us out. Antibiotics. All are anti only. Nobody probiotics. Probiotics also there, no? But it's a different probiotics. But for this malaria, that's what is called? The bacteria based disease is what is called infection. What are the disease that known? Bacteria based disease? Bacterial fever. This what is called? Very popular disease.
Conjunctivitis, stomach enzymes, one type of conjunctivitis is bacterial.
Bacteria, so many. So bacteria has got self-awareness. Why? Simple meaning, whichever has got Sukshma Sharira has got. Alright. The science, they have got a lot of problem in that to this virus, whether we can call them live or alive. So problem they have. Anyway, we will say, as it got Sukshma Sharira, it has got self-awareness. That's all. Sukshma Sharira is there or not, you find out. Our job is not that. Our job is to tell you if Sukshma Sharira is there, it's self-awareness. Alright. So self-awareness requires both the components. What? Bimba Chaitanyam, original all-pervasive consciousness, and Pratibimba Chaitanyam, reflected consciousness. This one Shishya has understood. Only we understood now. But Shishya has understood this. Now his question is, this when I say I am, this Pratibimba Chaitanya is there and Bimba Chaitanya called Kutastha Chaitanya, which is otherwise called Sakshi Chaitanya. Are they coming sequentially or simultaneously? Means first original consciousness comes and he calls, hey Pratibhi Maya, come here. So you come here. And then Pratibimba comes and both of them dance or something. So first Bimba comes, then Pratibimba comes. Or first Pratibimba comes and he say, hey, original, where are you? So then original comes. Or they come simultaneously. So question is, these two entities are there in Aham. When I say I am, it contains two entities. Kutastha Chaitanya, the original consciousness, and reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa. Kutastha Chaitanya is otherwise called Sakshi. So all of a sudden he started using the word Sakshi. So Kutastha he did not like. So the Shishya used the word Sakshi. So between this Sakshi and Chidabhasa, who comes first? Are they coming sequentially or they are coming simultaneously? That is the question Shishya is asking. Okay. Hey Swamin Prashna. Okay, before the title. Kutastha Bhasayoho Aham Vrittau Bhanam Kim Kramena Uta Kramam Vina Iti Vichara. The analysis is this. Kutastha Bhasayoho, of Kutastha and Abhasa, original consciousness and reflected consciousness. Of both of them, Bhanam means they are shining. Where Aham Vrittau, in the I thought, I am in that I thought, Kutastha and Abhasa are appearing, are evident. Their being evident, Kim Kramena, is it with order? Uta or Kramam Vina, without order. Means they are coming in a particular sequence. Kutastha and Abhasa, are they coming in a particular sequence or without sequence, simultaneously? Iti Vichara. This analysis is being done. So that we get full clarity. We understand the role of each one. That is the purpose. So Vichara is done. So main question is what? Sequentially or simultaneously? And then sequentially, if this answer, then other two options will come. Who comes first? That will happen. But fortunately, answer is what? Simultaneously. Therefore, the sequentially we don't have to bother. This comes first or this comes first. But Shishya doesn't know. So he may think that this comes first or that comes first. So that will be, it is asked. Hey Swamin, Prashnaha, question. O Swamin, O Master, Aham Vruttau Sakshi Chidabhasayoho Pratibhanam Bhavati iti Bhavata Uktam. So he says, Pratibhanam means cognition of or shining of Sakshi and Chidabhasa, the witness and this reflected consciousness. Bhavati happens. The shining being evident of this witness and Chidabhasa happens. Where? Aham Vruttau, in I thought. So we use I very often. I went there, I came there, I all this we say. We don't think that what comprises this I, and what are the factor involved, how they come, all this. Those who have nothing else to do, they think like this. So they have only no other business. This only is that. It's not I am telling in a derogatory manner. Means they are committed to this. For them, such questions will come. It is something like, this apple fell down, and so Newton thought, if we were there, what? We will start eating. And if it is rotten, we'll complain. Mera luck aisa hai. So that's what the difference between Newton and us. So we'll say, apple बहुत बढ़िया है, मस्त, free में मिल गया. And there is some joy in eating something available free. Especially when we're small, no? We buy from the shop and eat it. There is some joy. But we go out and the owner of the garden is not there and they throw the stone and get it. There is some special joy. Joy is special joy. So this is what would have happened. Apple will get. Similarly here, generally we use the word I so often. But he is now thinking about this. That these two components of I, are they occurring simultaneously or sequentially? That's what he says. Aham vruttau sakshi chidabhasayoho pratibhanam bhavati iti bhavata uttam. Tatra, there, in that situation, when the sakshi and chidabhasa both are shining in aham vritti, in that situation, kim tayoho yugapat pratitihi jayate uta kala bhedena. Their cognition or their being evident, is it yugapat simultaneously, uta or kala bhedena, with the difference of time. And kala bhedena implies what? Sequentially. One at one time, other at other time. That is called kala bheda, with the difference in time. One person, like twins also, they say, Swamiji, I am bigger, I am older. Why? 2 minutes bigger. So similarly, first Sakshi comes, and after 1 second, this Chidabhasa comes. Is it like that? Or Yugapat Pratitihi Jayate. Tanme Bhavan Vispashtam Bodhayatu. That particular matter, to me, Bhavan, the teacher, Vispashtam, clearly, Bodhayatu. Please explain. Please explain to me that particular point very clearly, so that I don't have to ask you question again and again. You explain to me very clearly. Okay. So Purva Prashnasya Uttaram, the answer to the first question. What is that? And what is the answer? Aham Vruttau Sakshi Chidabhasayoho Yugapad Bhanam. The answer is going to be this. In aham vritti, in I thought, sakshi chidabhasayoho, of this witness and the reflected consciousness, bhanam, shining, being evident, evidence, yugapat, simultaneously. There is a simultaneous evidence of sakshi and chidabhasa in aham vritti. Means both of them are shining, available, evident, simultaneously. That is the answer given. Hey Somya, Vispashtam Sarataram Uttaram O good looking one, Vispashtam, very clearly, Sarataram, quintessentially, Uttaram, the answer, Uchyate is being told. By Sarataram, what is suggested is that answer given will be brief but comprehensive. That is called quintessence. So quintessentially, this answer is given. So clear and comprehensive, at the same time brief answer is given. Uchyate. Shrunu savadhana manaha. So being savadhana manaha san shrunu. That is the vakya. Being with alert mind, may you listen. Because so many details will be involved. So with Vichara Sagara, you cannot say, okay, Swamiji, 10 minutes thoda nap le leta hu, aap chalu rakhe. So you continue, after 10 minutes I will pick up. In Ramayana it is possible. Swamiji used to say, in Ramayana, suppose you are listening to the story that Rama went to the forest. And afterwards 10-15 minutes in between you got a nap. You slept off. When you wake up also, Rama will be what? Forest only. Rama will not go away from the forest so easily. So 10-15 minutes only, some small story, he killed Rakshasas. That's all. That you miss. It's not a big missing because final one, the Ravana is there. So you will not miss. But here, Savadhana Manaha Shunu. Etat Shravana Janya Dana Surya Prakashodaya Matrena Gadha Dana Rupatamo Nishesham Minankshati. He says, Etat Shravana Janya Dana Surya Prakashodaya Matrena. By the mere the rise of the sunlight, which is in the form of knowledge, born of listening to this, or born of this knowledge, born of listening. So by mere rise of sunlight in the form of this knowledge, born of listening to my teaching, Gada Agnana Rupa Tamaha, the darkness in the form of the deep ignorance, Nishesham completely, Vinangshati will be destroyed. Is a lut lakara, means future tense it is. Vinangshati. So he just glorifying that what I am going to tell you will help you to get the clarity, remove your ignorance and wrong conclusions. Hey Shishya, O disciple, Sakshi Abhasau Ubhau api aham vrittau yugapadeva pratiyete. In aham vritti, Sakshi and Abhasa, both of them are simultaneously shining, are evident. Even though we may think that Swamiji, I am seeing only one aham. But even when one aham is cognized or seems to be evident, only one I, but in that both are there. Like when you are seeing the movie, you are seeing the screen also and you are seeing this movie. The light, what is called light expressed in the different form. So both you are seeing. But when you are asked, what did you see 1 hour? You don't say, I saw the screen. You saw what? I saw the movie only. But can you see the movie without seeing the screen? You are always seeing the screen. On the screen there is a movie. So screen is always seen as the background. Similarly, in aham vritti, Chidabhasa, along with this Kutastha Chaitanya, Sakshi, both of them are evident. In aham vritti, Chidabhasa and Sakshi, both are evident. Okay, now he makes one more point incidentally clear. Vedanta Prakraneshu Sarvatra Abhasaha iti Shabdena Antakrana Sahita Chidabhasa eva Grahyaha. He says, whenever we use the word Abhasa, you should not think only of reflection. You have to understand the medium of reflection. So he says, Vedanta Prakraneshu. in the context of Vedanta or in the text of Vedanta, sarvatra, everywhere, abhasa iti shabdena, by the word abhasa, antakarana sahita chidabhasa. Chidabhasa along with antakarana, eva, alone, grahyaha, should be understood. So chidabhasa means antakarana sahita chidabhasa. When you say reflection, it always covers the medium of reflection. Then antakarana sahita chidabhasah sakshinaha vishayataya bhati. Chidabhasa along with the antakarana bhati appears as the object of sakshi. Here we have to understand that Chidabhasa is appearing as Vishaya. Really speaking, Antakarana alone becomes the object. But Chidabhasa is evident only because of this Bimba Chaitanyam, Sakshi. Therefore, Chidabhasa also is said to be appearing as the object of Sakshi. So Chidabhasa Bhati appears as the object of Sakshi. Means Chidabhasa is evident being illumined by Sakshi. That's what it means. Like the moon is evident how? The moon is evident being illumined by the sun. Being illumined by the sun or sunlight alone, the moon becomes evident. Chidabhasa is like this moonlight. So moonlight becomes evident being illumined or having borrowed the light from the sun. So that idea is conveyed by the word Vishayataya Bhati. So Chidabhasa appears as the object of Sakshi. Means Chidabhasa derives his shining from the Sakshi. And Antakarana is of course illumined by Sakshi. And in fact Antakarana is when it is illumined. That illumination of Antakarana alone is referred as this Chidabhasa. Like the moon is illumined by the sunlight. That illumination of the moon not only illumines the moon, but that moonlight which is obtaining on the moon becomes the source of illumination of others. Therefore, this moonlight is object of the sunlight, because it is dependent upon sunlight. So Vishayataya Bhati. Sakshi to Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. Whereas Sakshi shines as self-evident. So Sakshi is not dependent on Chidabhasa to be evident. Sakshi is dependent on Antakarana to manifest as I am. For Sakshi to manifest as I am, it has to depend upon Antakarana. But Sakshi to be the source of light, source of shining in terms of knowledge, Sakshi does not depend upon this Antakarana. Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. Means Sakshi does not have to depend upon Antakarana or Chidabhasa to be illumined, to be evident. That is called Swayam Prakashataya Bhati. Chidabhasa sahitantakarana vrutya na sakshi vishayi kriyate. That is the explanation of Swayam Prakasha. Sakshi na vishayi kriyate is not objectified by the antakarana vritti along with Chidabhasa. Sakshi is not objectified by the antakarana vritti, the thought of the mind along with Chidabhasa. It is something like the sunlight is falling on the mirror. And now that reflected light you direct towards the sun. What will happen? Will the sun be objectified by that? No. It will not be objectified, means it will not be illumined by this reflected light. So it is not that with this reflected light I will see the sun. That is not possible. With reflected light you can see other objects in darkness. But with that reflected light, you don't objectify the sun itself. So similarly, the Sakshi is not objectified by the Antakarana Vritti along with Chidabhasa. More we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः